Hi, I'm Hailey, and today I will be guiding your lesson on an introduction to climate change. In this lesson, we will go over what climate change is, its history, and what causes it. Before we start, make sure you have the following: a scientific notebook, a pen or pencil, and a learning mindset. So, what is climate change? Climate change is a long-term shift in weather patterns, such as tropical storms, droughts, and wildfires. These changes are caused by climate change. Things such as greenhouse gases and deforestation cause climate change. Burning fossil fuels such as coal and gasoline release many greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Additionally, practices of industrial farming can release many pollutants into the air and water. Electricity production and transportation also harm the climate. So, what is the history of climate change? It is only due to recent studies that the scientific community has begun to believe the impacts of man-made climate change. Scientists from as early as ancient Greece studied and proposed how humans could influence the climate. Their theories proved to be correct, as the effect of cutting down trees and plowing fields seemed to change the Earth's climate. In the 1820s, Joseph Fourier proposed that the Earth's atmosphere acted similarly to a glass greenhouse. A couple of decades later, in the 1860s, John Tyndall explored Fourier's theory through tests in which gases were most effective in absorbing sunlight. In 1895, Svante Arrhenius began to explore how the Earth could be cooled. This led to more research for reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In the 1890s, scientists began to believe that an increase in global temperatures was good and maybe even beneficial. In the 1930s, one scientist made a claim that carbon emissions might have a warming effect. A British engineer, Guy Stewart Callender, proved this theory through calculations correlating carbon dioxide concentrations with the Earth's temperature. Although many had their doubts and criticisms of his theory, he was able to draw enough attention to have the government fund some of the first projects to monitor climate and carbon dioxide levels. And finally, in 1988, there was an immediate increase in global temperatures, attracting the attention of many people. That year, Earth would experience its hottest summer on record. Additionally, there were many wildfires and droughts seen through the U.S. that year. So, what is causing climate change? The burning of fossil fuels contributes to the release of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. We've mentioned the word greenhouse gases before, but what are they exactly? Greenhouse gases are gases like carbon dioxide and methane that trap heat in the atmosphere. Fossil fuels are natural fuels like coal or gas that are formed from the remains of living organisms. Burning them releases enormous amounts of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the air. We burn fossil fuels when we ride a car or planes. We also burn fossil fuels for a lot of other things like power to our homes. Another harmful greenhouse gas is methane. Methane is a product of farming. In fact, it's even released when cows fart. This, combined with outputs of electricity production and emissions from transportation, all add to the large amounts of greenhouse gases humans produce. So, what do greenhouse gases do to the Earth? It creates what's called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse gases act as a blanket for the planet, allowing heat from the sun to enter our atmosphere. However, these gases trap the heat like a blanket, slowly raising the world's temperature. Here is a simulation of the greenhouse effect. As the greenhouse effect causes our globe to warm, temperatures rise and cause the climate to change. That's what climate change is. What will happen if things continue? If humans continue to hurt the planet at the speed we are doing now, we will inevitably face a war against nature. Fires, heat waves, floods, and storms could become a regular occurrence, and we will need to find different sources of energy to power all our lifestyles. But there are solutions. Renewable energy. We'll go deeper into solutions later for now, but here's the basic concept. If the majority of the world's countries switched from fossil fuel energy sources, the health of our planet would greatly improve. Fossil fuel energy sources are a kind of non-renewable energy source. These fossil fuels, like oil and coal, are called non-renewable because they aren't renewable. Once we're out of them, we won't be able to get energy from them. Luckily, there have been recent breakthroughs that use sources of energy that are limitless. This includes wind and solar energy. Wind is never going to disappear because it is a natural occurrence provided by Earth. The sun also provides limitless energy to Earth. By using these sources of energy, we can reserve the harmful effects of global warming. Those kinds of energy, which include hydropower or water or power from water, are also called renewable energy because, like I said, they're limitless. Why do we still use greenhouse gases instead of renewable alternatives? So greenhouse gases sound pretty scary, and they're definitely doing a lot to hurt our Earth. So why do we keep using them? Well, they're always available and super cheap, so people continue to use them. Unfortunately, this has led to greater increases in global temperature, melting ice, rising sea levels, and even prompting more and more irregular weather patterns such as tropical storms. So now, let's summarize. That was a lot of information, but don't worry, you do not need to remember all the tiny details you learned. Here are some key takeaways. Climate change is a long-term shift in weather patterns, creating unusual weather events to happen more and more often. Greenhouse gases are a key factor of climate change. They create an invisible blanket around the Earth that traps heat inside. Humans produce a lot of carbon dioxide, which is one of the most common greenhouse gases, and this hurts the planet. But there are solutions to this problem. Humans have accelerated climate change, causing events we never could have predicted. Since people have begun to rely on fossil fuels, our planet has paid the price of our actions. Lucky for us, there's still time to help save the planet. We can start by using renewable energy, like solar or wind energy, and find new ways of eco-friendly traveling, such as by bike, walking, or carpooling. All we need to do is start learning and finding ways our actions can help the planet. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, or you learned something new, consider liking or subscribing to the Cloud Project.